for that crisp, short and sweet, insightful interaction. So we are very happy to welcome Hemant Tiwari, who is there amongst us today, and he's come down specifically to be with us this morning. Hemant is the Vice President and Managing Director at Hitachi Vantara for India and SAARC. Hemant joined Hitachi in July 2018, Vantara in 2018. His primary responsibility is to manage the innovation and growth engine of Hitachi Vantara in India and SAARC. In his 40 years of professional career, Hemant was associated with leading organizations such as Hewlett-Packard Enterprise for close to 20 years in various roles, with a focus on developing international sales and business leadership. At HP, Hemant rebuilt the enterprise group management structure and developed a strong talent pool that benefited the organization's business. Prior to HP, Hemant was associated with firms such as Microland Limited, where he was responsible for sales, customer support, and education division. Furthermore, he was also associated with DCM Data Systems, wherein as the regional manager, he led a team of 75 sales, pre-sale systems, and service professionals, and was responsible for both sales and support business operations, and business and financial metrics at regional level. Hemant believes in being adept and latest developments in the technology domain. Very recently, he concluded educational course in blockchain from University of Oxford and in IoT. Business implications and opportunities from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. We are honored to have him with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's warmly welcome Mr. Hemant Tiwari. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Minu. Hello. Can you hear me? Good morning. Good morning. That's a nice one. Once again, good morning. Good morning. Lovely. Good energy, Darshan. You tested it earlier. Thanks a lot, Minu, and I am absolutely delighted. Actually, I am absolutely delighted not to be myself here alone, to be with all of you, and for all of you to take your busy time, take out time from your busy schedule and come over here to hear Hitachi Vantara's perspective, and of course also hear customers' perspective around, what is it that we should be doing in managing the huge, the vast, unimaginable amount of data that Minu talked about, or for that matter, she called it data is the oil, or, really seeing from single lens everything that is there in your enterprise. And I think it's a very exciting time that we are going through. I'm happy to be in the industry for that long, that I have seen when we used to still use manual typewriters, and we used to have CPM and those kinds of machines. There was nothing else. IBM had just gone away in about 5-6 years before I joined the industry from the country. So yes, I've seen this industry evolve in the country, and that has been a great privilege for me, and it's really nice to see where we are at this point in time. What I'm going to do is very quickly to introduce you with what I'm going to cover. So I will just share in brief who are we as Hitachi, and then of course, as Minu says, data. Future belongs to data driven, not data rich, and we'll probably dive a little bit in that area. One of the biggest focus globally of political leadership in countries as well as organizational leadership is sustainability. Environment is really getting out of control, and every CEO has, among one of his top 3 goals is to actually get to zero carbon footprint at some point in time in the future journey of that organization. So sustainability is a key aspect, and most of you who are in IT will realize that you play a significant role in making your CEO and the board successful in meeting those goals as well. And finally, a little bit of a recap on whatever I've discussed out there. All right, Hitachi in brief, very simple. Hitachi is a 113-year-old company, and it's a large conglomerate. You can see here we have 21% of our revenue comes from our digital business. And when I say digital, Hitachi Digital and Systems and Services. Mobility, transportation is 21%. In 17% in automotive systems, and of course, we have connective industry or connected industry where it is 26%. The rest is all contributing another 13-15%. It's a large conglomerate. Like in India, we are familiar with Tatas. They are really wide across from any sector to any sector. It's very difficult to pinpoint Tata to be only in IT, or to be only in automotive, or to be only in construction. They're across the board. So Hitachi is one of the oldest companies in Japan, very respected both globally as well as in Japan. And we are proud to be part of that Hitachi Limited. Hitachi Limited, so digital business is where we come from. Digital business accounts for about 21% of our overall Hitachi Limited revenue. And in revenue size, 17 billion is what the Hitachi Digital itself is. We have got a whole host of capabilities as we are among the top 10 global IoT companies in the world. Large number of companies across the sectors use Hitachi. So 9 out of top 10 banks, 9 out of top 10 telco companies, and so on and so forth. So we are there across the board. And by the way, the 17 billion and 21% of Hitachi Limited revenue coming from digital is purely digital. In fact, a lot of our other businesses, which I said automotive or other areas, they also have digital solutions within their business. So if you look at the digital footprint where Hitachi Vantara gets involved with them as well in delivering those solutions, it's far bigger than just that. And Hitachi ecosystem is fairly simple. So energy, mobility, and IT are the three fulcrums. And besides that, of course, industrial, financial services, and automotive. And we are absolutely connected at the intersection of all of this. As Hitachi Vantara, being an IT powerhouse ourselves, we have the opportunity to kind of work with each of these companies, and therefore there is a very unique value Hitachi Vantara brings, which is that of not just the IT expertise, but bringing in digital solutions and understanding the OT domain of each of these industry verticals, which I can tell you none of our competitors can offer, really speaking. So that way we bring a significant insight in the marketplace. Now, what happened? Can I get this back? While it is coming back, I think Darshan was talking about Gartner announcing the industry, their magic quadrants. And on storage magic quadrant, Darshan, you said 3 years, actually 5 years in a row, Hitachi Vantara has been placed in magic quadrant. And more importantly, you will see here so many sectors we are leaders or challengers, and that is where we take pride in. For example, IoT platforms, we are again in magic quadrant as a leader. Industrial software, asset management, and field services, again we are rated as number 1. On cloud services capability, for example, again we are a leader, based on IDC analysis. So we are there across multiple sectors, and I think this places us very well when you look at who do you partner with actually. Hitachi Vantara, or earlier Hitachi Data Systems, is more a storage company. We are actually an end-to-end IT solutions and services company, but yes, very well known for storage technologies. Hitachi Vantara, as a very quick view, we are 10,000 plus employees. In India, about 3,500 plus employees. And the base is very simple. We are across the globe. APAC obviously is the highest because of the fact that India itself contributes more than 3,500 employees. All right. So the future belongs to data-driven. That's a key that Minu brought out as well earlier. Now, many companies have been data-rich over the last few years, setting up massive large data lakes and so on and so forth. But having a lot of data, becoming a data-rich is no guarantee to success. Honestly speaking, the amount of data that is getting created on a daily basis, and the amount of data that has already been created for a very, very long time, most organizations, and this is something very interesting, a lot of research that points to, somebody says, some research says 1% of the data is actually analyzed, some says 5%, some says 20%. Regardless, there's a huge amount of data that sits in an organization, which makes us data rich perhaps, but we don't know what that data is, and we don't even know how to actually use and do anything. So McKinsey research found that data-driven organizations, by the way, Minu talked about that as well in her opening talks, 23 times more likely to win in the marketplace, 6 times more likely to keep customers, and 19 times happy, and 19 times more likely to be profitable. So that is a McKinsey research, and very clearly it just simply tells us that we have got to figure out what we should be doing to actually get what we should be getting for our organizations from data. And again, understanding, knowing where the data is, understanding what the data is, figuring out ways to actually then use that data to drive insights helps us to actually deliver differentiated customer experiences. And really speaking, I think every organization today sees that a lot of the offerings they have is very generic, and a lot of focus is going on customer experiences. Innovation, products, services, solutions based on the data and data insights you have to derive. Data-driven operations, you have got so many silos of data, and unless you are going to integrate those silos and kind of automate the data processes at the back end, and therefore maybe make your organization to have single or fewer sources of data, that is the way you will probably drive a lot of insights out there. Data supply chains, very important that you understand where data is sitting, because very important from edge to core to multi-cloud today, data is sitting, it's actually distributed across anywhere and everywhere. So it's very important that we figure out, and eventually data-driven IT and data-driven ecosystems. When I say ecosystems, not just your company alone. You have got supply chain. Every company in the supply chain becomes part of the ecosystem. You've got partners who help you with IT, for example, or who help you with a lot of other solutions. They are also part of that supply chain. So really speaking, I think it's just integrated stuff that we have to understand for us to be able to figure out what we should be getting out of the data that we have in your organization. And it's very difficult to be a data-driven organization. Why? As I said earlier, data is sitting across multi-cloud, from edge to core, and then multi-cloud environment. And there have been, so cloud first was a strategy many companies took in the last several years, and what it did is it just proliferated a lot of applications going into the cloud, and then the cloud complexities came into play, cost escalations came into play, data being brought back from cloud is a huge problem, and now we are hearing actually customers talking about repatriation of data. So really speaking, it is a very complex world, and data sits across the board, so it's not in one place, and that makes the job of being a data-driven that much more difficult. Data is everywhere because of the same reason, and every company wants to be a software company, which is reality. I mean, even a train service could be a digital company, and it is, by the way. Hitachi, in fact, runs train services in UK as a service model. Okay, so every single sector, energy companies, again becoming very digital. So again, this creates more complexity as well, because then the data is across the board also. The other problem that companies face, and this is a very stark reality, is that the skill gaps, trained manpower, trained people for both IT and non-IT is becoming a huge problem, and current skills is a huge issue, right? Some years back we were seeing shortage of data analytics professionals. Today we are talking about AI and MI and ML resources not being available in abundance in the marketplace. So it's just keep on moving, and therefore these skill gaps will continue. And finally, legacy infrastructure helps nobody. There is just so much complexity in our data center that again, it's not very easy to be a data-driven company, because you have got to figure out how do I get all the data together in one place, and then figure out ways and means to actually use that data. So what do you have to do? You have to modernize. First of all, you have to modernize the underlying infrastructure. If you don't modernize, your organization is not going to be agile. What is the advantage of going into the cloud? That you have very agile operations made available to you, right? But honestly, a lot of customers also have on-premise, and you've got to figure out a way to basically, modernize that infrastructure. And when we say digital floor, it is a combination of both the infrastructure and the applications. So therefore, you have to also modernize applications. You can have application, you go to the cloud, you run on the same VM. What's the advantage you have delivered to the organization? Nothing. You were running it in the cloud, you're consuming some resources, you're consuming probably even more resources in the cloud, and maybe more expensive for all your, unless you're going to figure a way out to understand which application is beneficial to move to cloud, then you move it to the cloud, and then which application doesn't benefit because you have not modernized the application. Then there's no point going there. So all those then come into the play of modernizing your core. And then eventually you have got to get to the data ops layer. You have to modernize, you have to automate the back-end processes that go into creating that data fabric within the organization. You have got to figure out how many software platforms you have in your organization. How do you integrate all of them? How do you get the data together from those software platforms as well? So all of that is part of modernizing the data ops in your organization. And Hitachi Vantara plays in each one of these significant modernizing areas as well. Of course, the first play is modernizing the infrastructure. and building a most reliable and scalable infrastructure. Again, we play a very significant role in this area, and we have got a whole host of resources within the organization who can help our customers from advisory and consulting perspective to actually delivery perspective. Unified platforms, so all your data and applications is critical. At the same time, hybrid and software-defined infrastructure is equally important, and that is what we are seeing in our organization. We've got both coming in at any given point in time, and then automating. And there is a lot of focus on automation of everything on the IT infrastructure as well. And then having the choice, how do I want to consume? Do I have to really buy it in CapEx? Do I have to pay it for a usage that I'm going to have? Or do I pay only based on my SLA? I will tell you I want this, you deliver those SLAs, I pay you, otherwise I don't pay you. So all of these models come into play as well when you look at the modernization of infrastructure. And then you move to modernizing the applications. As I said earlier, applications modernization involves, first of all, knowing which application benefits from a cloud type infrastructure and which doesn't, because there are many critical applications which require dedicated, very focused resources, compute, storage, as well as network, because of applications performance needs, because of scalability needs, because of confidence, security needs, or could be that it is too critical for you to let go of control from those applications. So that is, of course, as far as those applications, but even there, if you don't modernize the application and keep it monolithic, it's so difficult to become agile. And so you have got to figure out how do I modernize even the monolithic applications. Of course, then there are applications which you want to move to cloud for agility and very flex up and flex down on using infrastructure so that you manage costs. And there you again have to modernize applications. This is a very critical exercise, and we do play a very significant role in this area as well. As you can see here, we have more than 800 cloud customer engagements that are going on since 2017. A large number of resources that we within our organization, large amount of certifications as well as we have in our organization to help you as our customers and help other customers as well actually do this. And then finally, modernizing the data fabric, which I was talking about earlier. We have platforms like Pentaho Data Ops software, which allows to do actually getting and onboarding all types of data, integrating them, putting metadata on top so that they become contextual so that you can analyze that data, putting it through a data analytics engine and then visualizing all of that. So this entire value chain is actually managed by our software platforms, Pentaho, as well as data integration platform and data modernization analytics services as well. So we play an end-to-end role out here as well and help customers actually modernize the data processes and data ops that's sitting the organization. So we have a lot of pre-integrated and designed and integrated solutions in a lot of areas. These are some of them which I have just shared here for smart spaces or fraud management, or for that matter industrial operations as well. And these are basically an outcome of Hitachi Vantara's capability along with many of our vertical industry domains that we have within our organization, and actually bring these solutions to the table for customers in different segments. And you can see from hospitality to transportation to smart things across the board, and managing assets and all that stuff. Good news is, and this is very critical, you need to know that no single company can address all your needs or many of your needs. So you really have to pick a partner very carefully, a partner who also works with a lot of people that you already work with, and that kind of helps to get things moving. And we do partner across various layers out here. You can see from infrastructure services to cloud alliances, alliance partners, and of course ISV and technology partners. ISVs are important because our technology has to get integrated with the applications they develop for better performance, for better agility, for better consumption-based models, and so on and so forth. And so we kind of partner with a whole host of ecosystem out here, and this is what I was talking about ecosystem as well earlier. Now I talked about sustainability, and I'll jump into this very interesting topic. I am not sure how much of this dialogue, by the way, raise of hands, how many of you are confronted with sustainability issue from your top management? Few of you are there. Yes, it is something that you will be confronted more and more as you move forward. And so I thought I should cover it, and you should understand among your partners why it is important to actually choose a partner who is at the front and center of driving sustainable solutions, energy reduction, ensuring and helping that you get solutions which can help you deliver energy consumption reduction over a period in time. Hitachi is right at the front and center of this change, and Hitachi Vantara as well as all of Hitachi limited units are actually there across the board in terms of helping to create solutions and technologies to contribute to the society through the development of better products, better solutions, and superior experiences for an overall social good. And Hitachi, by the way, I don't know how many of you know, we have got a strategy for several years or decades that Hitachi's primary focus has never deviated from powering good for society. We have been a very focused organization who believe in contributing to whatever we do should be contributing to betterment of society, betterment of human beings, betterment of life. Besides, of course, the other objective that would be there to help our customers to basically get the financial outcomes that they want, become far more profitable, and so on and so forth. So those are, of course, financial metrics, but on the social metrics, Hitachi has been very focused and consistent. And that is what drives a lot of things that we do from a sustainability perspective. Of course, it's a mega trend. 70% of you have seen emission reduction targets being set for both countries and also organizations. Nobody can take it away from. 80% CEOs plan to invest in new and improved products to actually help them attain the goals that they have set up for their organizations. And 58% organizations incorporate sustainability objectives in their RFPs today, which is true. We have seen IT RFPs where they talk about energy management and power consumption reduction and so on and so forth, and they actually define it as well. So this is something which is very, very critical and is a huge trend across the board. Nothing to do with IT. I think it's just a societal problem, globally. And so Hitachi's focus, far more bigger than IT, is actually on sustainability. And I think it's very important for you to know Hitachi was appointed a principal partner of COP26, which was the environment conference that happened in 2021 under the aegis of United Nations. Okay, and there are fewer companies who have that partnership, but that is the highest level of recognition by COP26. And then, a whole host of other consortiums and forums where we are partners or we are members and we are contributing in a significant way out there. We walk the talk. This I'm talking of Hitachi Vantara. Among the global distribution centers that we have one in Asia Pacific, one in Americas, and one in EMEA. The one in EMEA is absolutely carbon footprint neutral. Everything that we do there, we don't use any natural resources. In this distribution sector is like a manufacturing facility, okay, or integration, manufacturing, and testing, and so on and so forth, and then shipment out. It's like a factory, okay. Huge amount of solar panels. In fact, the solar panel that we have built is massively large capacity, 6,120 solar panels. So I just wanted to make sure that you understand that we only use recycled water. Okay, we don't use any natural resource in this, geothermic systems, and of course solar panels that I said. So this is a carbon neutral distribution center that Hitachi Vantara has. I'm sure, I think you will hear more of such things happening in other distribution centers as well. Again, it matters to you, should matter to you, that you pick technologies by considering where it is being manufactured. And the reason I say is that it's very important to have that in your decision-making process. Supply chain that you have in your organization, you must be very aware of how these companies that are part of the supply chain are focused on sustainability. And why I said you should know where it is manufactured. Japan actually is one country which is producing 38% less CO2 than all of the major manufacturing nations across the board. And that kind of gives you that confidence as well. Sustainability is a very clear cost saving activity. Significant, of course, besides improving environment, it also helps significant amount of cost. And you should know, therefore, how is Hitachi contributing to all of this. Eco-storage innovation by Hitachi is very critical for you to understand. Make sure that the products that you choose and pick are certified. Okay, there is a CFP certification, and there is, of course, an Energy Star certification from the United States. All of our storage products are certified in either of the two categories. I'm not going to spend much time, you know most of these things, But what I want to point out is that the carbon footprint certification, or CFP, as I said, is critical. And you can see here all our NVMe-based storage solutions are certified under this certification. Similarly, for Energy Star, again, all our platforms are certified. And it's important that you see them, because the amount of energy savings and power savings they deliver to you is critical for you to figure out. Listen, sometimes we do see only upfront cost. We never see a cost during the overall cost of ownership for owning that technology or running it in your data center. So it's important that you reflect these things within your organization as well. As you can see here, every cycle of new innovation that we come out, a new product that we come out, we are dramatically reducing the carbon footprint of our products. And you can see here the VSP56 platform is just contributing. It has reduced 63% from the previous one, which is 5500, and 5500 reduced close to 42% from G1500. So you can see there is a very clear focus on driving sustainability within our organization and reducing the CO2 emission. Visualize environment impact is very important. Okay, enhanced compression features, and you will see some of them. I'm not going to cover them in depth. There are technical people who will help you understand, but you will understand why Hitachi delivers these kinds of CO2 emission reductions as we deliver. Data compression is one of the techniques that we use, and you can see here 40% improvement for any read-write operation in terms of and enhancing performance, right? Power consumption down by 60% because of data compression techniques that you use from Hitachi. And of course, annual CO2 emissions down approximately 100 ton reduction. So I think these are the kinds of things that you have to start to really look at it. And data reduction with Hitachi's unique features is very, very critical and important. The automated compression switching is another functionality that we incorporate out here. And it is important for you to consider these as you go along in your decision-making process. This is one of the most important features that we offer. Assurance of protecting your media and sustaining it for usage for 10 years. You have not seen any of our competitors offer it. Even Hitachi didn't offer today. You can use the media that you have in your current storage environment over the next 10 years. Generally, refresh cycle is 5 years, and every company asks you to change the box. In case of Hitachi, you don't really change the box, change the controller while data at rest. You don't touch the data, your operations don't go down, your business continues to go on, but we can change the controller. You can see here from VSP 55 to VSP 56, you go 5 years of 55 and then 5 years of 56. You use the same hard drives, SSDs that you use, don't change them, you don't have to do any migration, and so 10 years hassle-free, and this helps drive significant amount in terms of energy consumption as well. Hitachi is the only company which offers this, and it is important for you to know and for you to consider this, that when you look at refreshes, who is offering you the protection on your investment that you have already made. Okay, and eventually, object storage solutions from Hitachi. Again, significant savings across the board, 8% overall usable capacity savings to 51% power cost and power consumption savings. Overall, 627 tons CO2 savings over a 5-year period for a 2,500 terabyte of storage usage over a period in time. So significant savings that you deliver, and this is something that we have done as a simulation. And finally, intelligent data innovations, very important. Sustainability is actually due to lack of intelligent data management. Data management is very, very critical. We discussed earlier also how the amount of data that we have requires very prudent strategies, very prudent framework for you to manage the data within your organization. 2.5 billion gigabytes of data is created every day, 50% being dark data, right? 13 copies of each data that we actually create within our own organization. 8 data lakes in an enterprise on an average. And honestly speaking, less than 20% of the organizations have built-in ongoing processes to actually actively identify and delete content that you actually don't use or is of no use to your business. And it is just not done. So it is just sitting there. You're using resources to host to keep it within your organization, and you're getting nowhere. So it's very important. And there are a whole lot of areas within intelligent data lifecycle management, from data protection, which is where then you figure out, where do I place my data? On expensive disks, less expensive disk, or actually archive it, or put it on some low cost data. And again, for that you have to first know what that data is, analyze it, figure out what you need where, and then do the steering, as we call it, right? Cleans the data, change the data types if required. Okay, classify. Metadata, putting it on unstructured data is so critical and so important. That classification is so critical. So we actually operate across this entire data life cycle, and that's what I'm trying to basically bring out here, that once you do it, then this data is ready for you to actually use. This data is ready for you to actually get insights out from, make decisions based on the data that you have organization, and so become data driven. And of course, that use the data to come out with new products, new services, new solutions, and therefore try and see how you can monetize as well from the data. So our solutions around Lumada Data Ops and Content Platform, and these are, by the way, software platforms, help you do this. Okay, just a very quick view on some customers out there. Okay, this is a global enterprise that delivers real world results. Again, you will see 1.5 million cost saving annually, and this is a combination of a whole host of things that are done by these customers. Okay, at the same time, a global GSI, they have had a software platform that actually tracks resources that are sitting within the organization in the enterprise of their customers. But what they didn't have is a single unified integrated visualization. So Hitachi combined our visualization platform with the global system integrators platform to help them get that visualization layer, which is so critical and so important as well. So data, you need to do a lot of things. You have to cleanse data, integrate all types of data, you have got to make it ready for usage and analytics, and then of course after having all of that, you should be able to visualize that data. And by the way, data, just not visualization of what you have blocked, you've got video data coming in. How do you visualize in a single pane, single wall, for example? And those are the kinds of things that come in. And finally, some of the final thoughts based on what I said just now. Powering good is what Hitachi believes in for the society. It's been our commitment to society. We collaborate both with Hitachi companies within and with a lot of our customers and with a lot of our partners to co-create solutions that deliver overall societal improvements. And this is at the very core of our belief system. Some customers that I could share, we have got thousands of customers in India, but these are some very recent wins, and I thought I should share this. We were not present in the publication industry. We have two of the leading publication industries out here in this. HDFC is the largest bank in India, and they have 80% footprint of storage being used from us. Again, why Hitachi? Globally trusted brand. Very important to know that where your vendors are manufacturing, what you're getting in your organization from a sustainability perspective, right? See the certifications they have. Okay, modern data storage or storage assurance that I just shared earlier to extend the life of your assets within the organization. Okay, Hitachi storage patents are responsible for up to 30 to 50% reduction of annual CO2. Of course, 40 plus years in IT, actually it is not 40 plus years, it's more than that, almost 63, 64 years of IT business that we have at our end. And as Darshan was talking about, single operating system makes that life easier. You have only single operating system to manage from a storage perspective, from a very low end storage to the highest end storage. 100% data availability guaranteed. Now some competitors are starting to talk about it, but this has been a very unique feature of Hitachi for a very, very long time. For decades, we have been offering 100% data, which means that data cannot get lost anywhere. Okay? Of course, very wide portfolio, and our operation across the entire cloud continuum from edge to core and to multi-cloud environment. And all our solutions actually can help you cut across the entire environment. And then how you want to use the technology, how do you want to consume it, pay for usage, pay for SLA, and so on and so forth. This I'm going to skip too many things there. And finally, again, modernizing the digital core, optimizing data fabric, and eventually engineer for data-driven outcomes is where we help all our customers to actually actualize the most from their data. With that, follow us on all the platforms that are there. Thank you very much for your time. It's really such a joy to see you all here.